Hey guys, so writer's block, am I right? I hate it, I hate it, I hate it so much. Writer's block is just a pain in the backside. It has been hitting me hard these past few days, which is why I am wrapping myself up in the coziest blanket I can find and trying to convince myself not to give up, because that is just the process I take. So let's go back to the beginning. Okay, writer's block is a mental blockage of some kind that just halts your creativity. It doesn't have to be writing specifically, it happens to pretty much everybody out there. It's a pain in the backside. It just has a habit of draining whatever motivation you have. You just feel like there's no point writing anymore, there's no point trying to push through it because the story's bad anyway and the characters just aren't doing what you want them to do, and it was a stupid idea to begin with and no one's gonna read it, and it just keeps building up and building up until you just get to the point where you're like, what am I gonna do? And NaNoWriMo, it does tend to hit pretty hard because you know that there is a deadline, you know that there is a time limit, and if working to deadlines isn't something that you're really that comfortable with, then it makes the whole thing even worse. And it's harder to tell whether writer's block is worse when you just feel like you can't write and you don't want to write and you just get angry and frustrated at the idea of sitting down and trying to push through, or on the other hand, you want to write, you know where the story's going to go, you know what the characters are supposed to do, you want to go and grab it, but for some reason you just can't. You just can't, and it hurts. It actually really hurts. A lot of people wouldn't think so, but yeah, when something in your mind is stopping you from doing something you love, it does hurt. So this week I've had a bit of an issue with writer's block. I planned so well, I've got the characters down, I know who they're going to be, I know what's going to happen, I know it all, and I want to write it, but it's just my time management hasn't been great. Through my own fault, even for all of my lists that I swear by, it hasn't been great, and it has been getting me down a little bit, so I'm starting to come out of it now, which is good. I'm seeing a little pinprick of light at the end of the tunnel, which also means that whatever writing I have been doing, I know isn't up to par, and that's kind of been weighing on me as well. But again, I just have to keep reminding myself that that is what editing is for. So I thought I'd make a video covering writer's block and how I try to dig myself out of it when it does hit, and hopefully just getting it off my chest will help in some way. And if it inspires some of you, and if anything that I'm saying can resonate with you guys, then by all means let me know. Let me know what you do to get out of writer's block. This is just something for me to vent with while I'm sitting here in my potted PJs and my cozy blanket. So how writer's block affects me for the most part, and it is different for everybody out there. For me, it kind of comes in waves of frustration where I will know what I'm supposed to do, and sometimes I'll try and cheat it by writing a few scenes ahead. So if I know there's a scene that I'm having writer's block with, then I'll be like, okay, I'll just leave it for now because I know what's supposed to be there. I'll try and write a few scenes ahead just to give myself a bit of a push, get those creative juices flowing again, and maybe I'll be able to come back to it after. But sometimes that doesn't work because then that is just constantly on your mind of, yeah, you're writing this now, but what if something that you were supposed to be writing before changes and now changes all of this that you're writing now? And thanks brain, I needed that one. So if that doesn't work for me, what usually happens is more waves of frustration. It starts weighing down on me, and then I'll just go, you know what, screw it for today. I will slam my laptop close, I will shove my notebooks into my bag, and 9 times out of 10, I'll be honest, I like to be honest on this channel, I will cry. I will have a good old-fashioned cry. poor Tom will come home from work, see me in tears, be like, oh my god, what happened, who died? And I'll just be there like, no one's dying, that's the problem, no one's dying, no one's talking, no one's falling in love, I'm a terrible writer, I'm never writing again, take the laptop away, burn all the books, I'm done. I'm a bit of a drama queen at times, I'll admit that. For such an introvert, I can be such a drama queen, and I will be the first to admit that. So I will take a break. I won't be happy about the break, but if I get into that point where I'm crying, then I know I need the break. So that break can just be anything between just sitting down and doing nothing, reading a book that I've been putting off for a while, maybe playing a game. We might have a games night or something, just invite a few people around just to take my mind off it and just do something that isn't writing related. Sometimes I'll go for a run because, as I've said, getting back into fitness and all that jazz. There's no timer on writer's block. There's no telling when you're actually going to be able to get back into the swing of things. But if your mind is shutting down to a point where you feel like you really need a break and you just can't push forward anymore with this particular project, you need to listen to it, otherwise you're just going to be doing yourself more damage. Like when you break down in tears and start proclaiming to the world that you're never going to write a single word again. Sometimes it helps to try and work on a different project. Now, if you're anything like me, your brain is so jumbled up that you can't just focus on one project at a time. I try to, God knows I do, but at the moment I'd say I have about 4 different novels all planned out, ready to go, and I'm only doing one for Nano, so the others have been put on hold for a while. But sometimes just taking a break to visit a different project, get into a different swing of creativity, reminds you why you put them on pause in the first place, and then you'll feel more compelled to go back to your main project. It's a little bit frustrating, not gonna lie, but writer's block is frustrating in general. It's not something that can be dealt with easily, and everybody is different. So yeah, I allow myself a cry, I allow myself a drama queen moment, because I know deep down I don't mean it. It's just something you need to... It's just a threat you need to make in order to give yourself that panic of, oh god, what if I don't actually write again? And it's like a reverse psychology on yourself. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. For me, I'm back here again, so I guess it works for me. But after a little bit of a cry and just get all the emotions out, then just do something to distract yourself. Get out of the house, see people, try a different project. Sometimes even changing locations and changing the form that you're writing in helps a lot. So going out to write in a coffee shop, maybe, just a bit more of a bustling atmosphere where you can just relax and have a coffee and just soak up the atmosphere, and it just might spark some inspiration. It gets you away from the same 4 walls all the time. Again, it's like one of my previous videos, you have to find your workspace. Sometimes you can have more than one. I probably should have mentioned that in the last video. You can have more than one workspace that works for you. Sometimes even just changing from staring at a screen and writing on a laptop to scribbling in a notebook. Just having the time to slow down and write by hand so you can take in what you're writing a bit more slowly and a bit more methodically than just typing away like crazy. Just allows your brain to slow down so you can think and see what's in front of you and understand where to go next. Sometimes that helps you. There's no easy fix. There's no simple fix. There's no one fix. Writer's block is a pain in the backside for that, just like it's a pain in the backside for every bugger else out there. I've heard a lot of people say, if you're having writer's block or if you're struggling, then you need to just push your way through it and force yourself to write until it feels natural again. Personally, I don't agree with that. If you're forcing it, then what you're writing isn't going to be genuine, it isn't going to mean anything to you, and that can actually be pretty harmful to your mindset, because then when you go back to edit, it's a lot more work, but it also makes you think, well, if this is what it's like, is this what it's going to be like for the whole project? Do I need to rewrite everything? And it can be so disheartening. Not to mention, if you're forcing yourself to write something that you don't have a passion for at that moment, you can really bring yourself to just burn out, where you just feel so emotionally and sometimes physically drained, where you feel like you just can't go on. You don't want to carry on with this project. You don't even want to look at it anymore. I had that problem with last year's NaNoWriMo, with my witch story, and I had so much writer's block because I didn't plan properly or anything like that. So the idea of going over it again and rewriting it and editing it gives me so much anxiety, and that's because I pushed myself to a point of burning out, where even just the idea of that project, I will revisit it eventually, but it's just so daunting to think about right now. And you don't want that for a story that you spent so long planning and bringing to life. Don't force it, don't push yourself to a point of burning out, because that is going to bring a whole new level of issues. Take the break you need, even if you feel like you don't want it, you need it. At the end of the day, if your body and your mind are trying to tell you something, you should probably listen. Writer's block is never easy, and it hurts and it's frustrating, but it can sometimes be a sign that you do need to rest. You can call me a hypocrite if you want to on that, because I've said so many times before that even though I like a rest, I don't do it well because I feel so frustrated at myself that I'm not working harder. But then if I'm getting to that point, then I just need to tell myself to shut up sometimes. So yes, call me a hypocrite if you want to. I'm just giving the advice that I wish I could sometimes take myself. I'm hoping I can get out of this little mini slump. I haven't broken down in tears yet, so that's something. Maybe the recording is actually helping. But yeah, I'm hoping I can work my way out of it soon. I'm already starting to feel a little bit better. And just recording my progress through this and my little chart has actually helped a lot. I haven't felt as overwhelmed as I normally do in these situations, so I'm hoping that's a good sign. If you're going through writer's block out there, then I really do wish you the best. If you want to follow any of my advice, like changing locations, changing mediums, taking a break, going out and seeing friends just to have that time away from the screen and your amazing world that you've created, then by all means go for it. Likewise, if you have any writer's block advice for me, I will more than happily welcome it with open arms. You just have to remember that no matter how hard writer's block hits you, you are going to get through it eventually. I can't say a time because it is different for everybody, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, this is a project that you started and at one point you felt passionate about to take a chance on. That feeling will come back again once you give yourself the time to do so. So that's been my little writer's block rant, mental process thing. Whatever this video has ended up being, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Wish you guys the best. Happy writing, happy nano, you can do it. Okay, bye guys.